Greetings and welcome to Average Jays Fan Podcast here at Average Jays Fans
Headquarters.
Yes.
Your living room.
Looking over beautiful Rock Lake,
It's majestic.
Manitoba. We're not in Clearwater. We are a few miles west of Crystal River, as we'd like to call it here.
It's gorgeous. God's country, though.
Yes, it is. Yes. Even with all the snow we've got. I'm here with my good friend and fellow blogger, Joseph R. Gardner. How are you doing tonight, Joe?
Season's done, man. How could I be worse? R.A. Dickey got lit up.
The
it's
ledge.
the worst. It's over.
Everybody's on the ledge.
Done.
We got to talk each other down. And...
No, don't talk me down. As soon as you are stopping recording, I'm jumping off your roof because the season's done.
That is the case. Fans have been booing RA, but we will get into that a little bit later into the show.
We can save it to the end. I'll rant.
And then we'll get into a good rant. But no, things are going along. The season's nicely started here. We're watching the fucking Mariners.
Oh, deadly game. The Mariners versus the Astros.
Yep.
You know we like baseball.
Lack of anything else, there's nothing else on TV. And
Sidney Crosby's talking, so that's big news.
Another 45 minutes on TSN here.
There you go.
And they're 30 seconds of Jays highlights or whatever it is. Baseball highlights in general. Things are going pretty crazy here. For you, those of you that aren't in the know of world news, North Korea, tension is building overseas there. Nobody's quite sure what's going to happen. So I'm sitting around today and I'm listening to podcasts and world news and not knowing what's going to happen. And this is how sad my life is, the way my mind kind of works. North Korea, we don't know what they're going to do. They might bomb us. They might bomb somebody else. The world could totally change. And what's going on through my head is, Christ, Alex Anthopoulos just got a good Jays team.
Yeah, and North Korea's going to bomb it.
So all I can think, I don't care what North Korea does. Whatever. That's your thing. Just
if they're going to wipe North Dakota and Manitoba, that's cool. Just leave the Blue Jays alone.
I don't want to see them bugger up our season because it's promising.
Or maybe what could happen is the Jays could be on the road, and if they bomb Toronto, then they would be forced to move to a city that actually appreciates good baseball and what's going on, rather than those dorks that are in Toronto.
I was thinking simply just a new stadium, but that would be
that would be good too. Hey, put the Jays Canvas Global season ticket holder right here. I don't know if it is.
I heard they can
Sammy Cates owns it. Yeah. It's got to be global.
I heard that they can raise the roof there and put 5,000 more seats, just like they're going to do in the MTS Center.
Maybe they should just play in the MTS Center. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
Anyways, some real hot button topics we've got to talk and discuss here tonight. But first and foremost, it has been a hot button issue with both you and I, Joe.
Yes, we texted a lot about this.
The three-man bench. Let me hear it. What do you got to say about
this?
this?
For those of you that... Let me explain, because at some point in my life I wasn't totally up on how roster spots and whatnot worked. There's a 25-man roster. So you need 9 players to play on the field at any time. You need 5 starting pitchers, so that's 14. Usually what you do is have 7 people on the bench, or 7 people in the bullpen, and then 4 people on the bench. You have your backup catcher, a backup infielder, backup outfielder, and then a platoon, some sort of a platoon hitter, pinch hitter, can hit home runs. What the Jays have decided to do, for some reason unknown, is put 8 guys in the pen, and our bench consists of Mark DeRosa, Henry Blanco, and Rajai Davis, who might compete with Davis, Omar Vizquel, and Mike McCoy, who were on our bench last year, and we all made fun of.
That was probably the worst bench that the Jays have had in years.
Realistically, is Mark DeRosa better than Omar Vizquel? Probably a bit, but how much?
Yeah, only because he's 8 years younger, and he's still 38. But, it's something you don't appreciate it until a situation like this past weekend comes up where you're down to 3 men on your bench, and then all of a sudden your best player, Jose Bautista, gets hurt. He goes down. Now you're down to 2 guys. And the thing that really bothered me last weekend is when they go with J. Pierre Ancibia as the DH on Sunday and Henry Blanco catching. Now, if one of those guys gets hurt, now all of a sudden your pitcher has to hit because you lose your DH because your DH goes into catch. Your bench is very thin. You've got two
very
guys.
thin. Like,
and your two guys are yesterday. It was Adam Lind and trying to blank here. Davis was playing. Jeez,
it would have been
both of
Rasmus.
Rasmus, yes, two lefties. That's right. Sorry,
but it makes no sense to me. At the start of the year, Laurie isn't going to be with the team. You have a ridiculous starting rotation, and I know people are. I'm not saying that tongue in cheek because they've had a tough start. They're going to figure it out, and they're going to be good. Yeah. Everyone's healthy, and you have one of your best position players down. I don't know why you don't start the year with very minimum a 4-man bench. And I've made the argument to you: why don't we have a 5-man bench and 6 men in the pen?
See, and that's one place where I do agree with you that I would love to see a 5-man bench, but then it really takes away from your bullpen. But that's because the way that the bullpen's used nowadays, right?
But with the Loogie.
Yes.
Loogie being left-handed specialist, pitches one batter per week.
2-3 games a week. Yeah, it's basically a wasted roster spot. And for those of you that don't know Joe and I, we listen to a hell of a lot of Keith Law. And we basically worship at the church of Keith Law.
Suckle at the teeth.
Yeah, what he gives us, we take in, and we pass it on to our fans.
We're just messengers of God.
All 18 Twitter followers, they need to listen to us. So,
but it makes a very valid point. Like, I know Jeremy Jeffries pitched in a few innings, but let's be honest, we could do without. So out of the eight guys, get rid of Aaron Loop and Jeremy Jeffries. Jeffries was optioned anyway, right after.
They're going to lose.
And you texted me and said, Jeffries optioned to the minors. Guess who they called up? And instantly I said Sierra. That makes perfect fucking sense. And no, it was Dave Bush for some ungodly reason.
But we did talk about that too earlier before the show. That Dave Bush, he was being called up on. He's being called up. He's got a 3-hour drive from Buffalo. It was going to be his side session day anyways.
No, he was going to start in Buffalo.
Yes. So this is the conspiracy theory that we got that he
something's up with Dickie.
Yeah, but that's neither here nor there right now. We'll get to that later into the show. But getting back to the 3-man bench, how many teams are running a 3-man bench in the league? Would there be 2 or 3 maybe? It just seems like
it was us last year. We did the same thing and I just don't get it.
So has Alex got some sort of weird obsession with bullpen or overvalues the figure, or why does he?
I can see you're setting me up here because I made the point too early in the week. I think he overvalues the bullpen maybe a bit, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because he's had some awful bloody bullpens, but it just seems to me that in a series against Boston, when they're going to face for sure 2 lefties, and you're going to sit Rasmus, you're going to sit Lind, why you don't call Sierra up rather than Dave Bush and have Sierra either start DH or start in right field.
But that was another thing that you and I talked about too, was the fact that Sierra only has so many options left, right? In his 2 years of service time now. This would be his second. If they were to use him and call him up now, that's burning another option. In case they need him later in the year, he's a good bat to have.
That's true.
Like there's other guys that they could call up, like Andy LaRoche or something like that,
yes,
to play third base.
And I'm not. It's not specific to just Sierra.
No,
I know Alex must have thought about this, but why at the start of the season when Brett Lowry went on the 15-day DL or whatever, and he's looking, we're going, shit, we're gonna have a 3-man bench and Lowry's not there, so we have to play DeRosa, Isturiz, Bonifacio
at third. Yeah,
we have to play those guys. Why aren't you at least looking for something? A platoon split for Adam Lind so we don't have the situation the other day where we had Davis, Blanco, DeRosa, Bonifacio, Isturiz in the same lineup. Like, that is a weak lineup. That lineup's not going to win you any games.
It looks a little better than last year, but last year was bad. Really bad. So
and switch that around. You throw Rasmus in the lineup, you throw Lind in there, Lowry and Batista. All of a sudden you have one of the best offensive offensive lineups in the entire league.
Yeah. No,
But it just wins now. It doesn't seem like it mean just as wins now mean just as much now as they do at the end of September.
absolutely, and that's why it's just so goddamn frustrating. Is I like to think of ourselves as fairly educated fans that follow the team fairly closely, but talking to, and I don't want to call them dumb, but they are. Like, they're just stupid. Like, they're not.
Stupid fans.
Yeah,
they're the worst.
The
fans.
lowest common, and what we talked about too is the media caters to the stupidest
fans, yeah.
and they keep stirring the shut up. The
Yeah.
whole Farrell thing. Like, I was excited to see Farrell back, and I was excited to watch him get booed.
Yeah, I was excited.
It was
yeah.
part of it. It's part of, I go to a Jets game, and it's the same thing. I love booing players, but I like to think at a Jets game, they seem to be a little bit smarter about it. I think back to the time when Shane Doan came back to Winnipeg for the first time since '96. They booed and booed and booed every time he touched the puck. It wasn't because he's Shane Doan. It's because he's their best player.
Yes.
Then they had a bit of a tribute for him on the big screen, on the Jumbotron.
They cheered him. Yes.
Everybody cheered him, appreciate it. That, to me, is a smart fan. Farrell, coming back to Toronto, he was going to wear it no matter what. If he would have won 2 World Series and did what he did last year, he is going to wear it.
Yeah, it's a douchebag move.
It is.
Yeah.
But the fans, the things that they booed and the timing of the booing didn't make a lot of sense. I hate to get off topic because, again, that's something that we're going to get to later in the show. We're going to talk about the rotation now and get back to the Laurie and Batista thing and when they're going to get back and how badly are they needed. I want to talk to you about the rotation. Dickey, not good. Burley, JJ, Morrow, Hap, fucking great.
Yeah, I'm not Dickey. I'm not concerned at all. It's ridiculous. Like, I'm assuming it's just a pitch that just takes time to come, and the catchers need time to catch it, and a hitter will never pick up on it. There was a pitch I texted you during the game. There was a pitch. They did it in slow motion, and that pitch did not rotate. It didn't move at all. It looked like it was still going in, and Blanco's sitting there going, this pitch could go any direction, including up somehow. And he ended up missing it. But you're just like, how does anyone hit that? When he's going to do that consistently, the catcher catches with him every day. He's going to be able to catch it. The opposition hitters see him, once every month or something like that. They're never going to be able to prepare for that. He's going to be fine. He had problems last year. He's going to be fine.
Couple things. First of all, Blanco, as bad as he looked on Sunday, and I only watched a bit of the game.
He looked so bad.
But he looked so much better than JP Arancibia did on opening night.
Yeah.
Like, when he was standing at the
yeah,
ball.
I thought he looked all right catching it. It was
the pass balls.
It was hitting that Blanco just looked
okay,
he was in a different
the guy that
dimension.
The guy that can catch a knuckleball with chopsticks.
Yeah.
He's going to be able to catch a ball. And I think that's maybe JPA is much better catcher than a lot of people give him credit for. Numbers don't really, defensive metrics don't line up with that. I'm not too up on them, but everybody that talks about them says he's not very good at it. The eyeball test, I watched him catch all of his games this week. The only game I missed was the Sunday game. And even on a normal pitcher, he looked like he was stabbing at balls. And that cannot help out your pitching rotation, right?
Well, they say a batter, after a knuckleball, it takes him a game or two to get back. And I'm sure you're seeing those knuckleballs in your sleep.
Yeah. It looked like he was trying to catch it with a frying pan.
Oh, it was. And you know what? Like this winter, I was looking at just YouTube videos of Dickey just screwing around at the All-Star game with guys. Guys wanted to catch him.
Yeah.
And there are All-Stars jumping out of the way of it because they don't have protection or anything. And I mean, it's got to be a nightmare.
Oh, it's not an easy thing to do. And we talked about this a little bit, and the fact that probably further you get into the season, you're not going to see JP Arancibia catch Dickey and then catch the next night. I think it was a bullshit move.
I don't think I honest to God, they say that JP, he'll still catch him every once in a while. We're going to do a platoon, but I don't think you'll see JP catch Dickey anymore.
And even if he does, he's not going to catch the day after.
No.
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
I just can't see
I think
it.
it screwed him
But
up.
and I think JP probably unfairly was getting a lot of heat for that first game.
Yeah.
And it's like the DJF guys were talking about. Everyone always remembers. Every stupid fan in Toronto remembers the first game, no matter what. As long as you have a good first game, you have a free pass for the year. It's why we give Rajay Davis so many free because that first
We still
game,
remember that.
Yeah, we still remember that first
Well,
game. It's stupid.
JP Arancibia, his first game up, hits 2
Oh,
home
yeah.
runs, a double. He had a great
And
game.
he's had great opening days. And,
yeah.
like he's been a fan favorite. It's just like just another game.
It's,
And I get that the stands are full and everyone's watching, but
yeah, you gotta kind of temper those expectations, and maybe that's something that Gibby's got to do is, or should have done, and who knows, maybe it comes from up above, but maybe you're stepping in and saying, okay, JP, he's a great guy, everybody loves him, the media has got a hard on for him all the time, but he's not, essentially, he shouldn't be catching Dickey.
He should not. No,
he's not good enough.
And you know what? I think they recognize that. I'm almost positive that,
Well,
unless it's like injury or you know a bullshit game in Kansas City game 103,
yeah,
you're not going to see Dickey catching
or
JP catching
yeah.
Dickey.
And if AA hasn't realized it and Gibby hasn't realized it, the 52,000 fans that watch the game live sure realized it.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard to pick out the fact that every third ball is
Oh
passed.
yeah.
So in saying all this, we've put a lot of heat on JP. He had a really good week. But
Yeah, he did.
I think getting back to the whole rotation and how some of them were good, some of them were bad, I thought that JJ, Josh Johnson, and Mark Burley got let down by their defense.
Agreed. Burley kind of got lit up by the excuse me, the long ball. Oh no, I thought Johnson pitched really well. I thought he pitched. I'm not worried about Josh Johnson at all. He's going to be the Toronto fans, the douchebag dork Toronto fans are going to love Josh Johnson.
So let me ask you this. I'll wind you up and let you go. Who's going to be better, Josh Johnson or J.A. Happ?
I like both of them. Josh Johnson, I think, is obviously going to be better. Jay Happ is going to have a good year. I remember I texted you and Hayden both this past winter about I don't think people realized how good J.A. Happ was last year for the Blue Jays. And he wasn't, I was about to use the term ridiculous, but he was a really good starting. He had a FIP of just over 3. His K per 9 was above 10 or something just crazy. All spring, I watched a few spring training games, and he was just controlling the ball in the bottom of the zone, and it was the same when he pitched the other night. It's going to be a tough road to hoe for Ricky Rowe to get back.
To get back, for sure. And that leads to whole other questions about whether or not he should be traded or what's going to happen with there. Is he going to spend all summer down in Sangolay or what it's going to be? But saying J Happ or J Happ or whatever the hell he's being called nowadays.
J Hapster.
The Hapster, J Happ. If anybody that has Twitter, make sure you give J Hapster a follow on Twitter.
It's worth it. Yeah, it's some good stuff.
I got turned on it by the DJF boys, and for all I know, they run the account.
That guy only had, when I started following him, so I thought it was the actual J Happ. He had like 400 followers. I'm like, this can't be right. And I just forgot to unfollow him. I'm glad I did because he's got some good tweets.
J Happ was not good in Houston.
He was terrible.
Even before he came over in the trade, he was not good. After he got into the starting rotation, before he got hurt, he started together a few really good games at the end of last year.
He pitched well.
And a lot of people, and I don't know why they think this, that he's still a prospect.
He's 30 years old, or 29 years old, isn't he?
Older than Ricky Romero. He's born in 82, so...
so he's 31.
Yeah. So, I don't know. If he's going to be good and he's going to put together a season like he's putting together, or I shouldn't say putting together, he's had one good game. He was the best starter for the Jays this past week, one trip through the rotation. Is he going to be the savior?
I don't think he's going to go through the year with a 0 ERA.
No.
But I think he'll be fine. He'll put up 3.95 ERA. He'll have a WHIP of 1.2 somewhere in that line, and he'll do the job. If we're gonna be idiots, he'll probably win. 13 games, which that doesn't mean anything to me, but
it's a team stat. It's a nice team stat.
For layman's terms, no, he's going to I think he'll do a great job for the Jays. And I know, well, our baseball god did not like that signing.
Well, yeah, because he signed the
contract
extension through and bought out his ARB years. It's not a big deal.
The only thing that happened is he bought out his next year, his last arbitration year, and a reasonable team option. I had no problem with the deal. I thought it was just an insurance policy in case he turned really good.
Yeah,
which I liked. And if he's not really good, you have him on the books for $5 million next year, and it's not gonna hamstring your team.
If he turns really good, well, one, you've either got a really good pitcher for you, a left-handed pitcher, or two, you've got a really, really valuable trade chip. Either way, you're winning. Yeah. So it seems like
and if he's bad, it's $5 million.
In saying all that, this time last year I said that Dustin McGowan signing, fantastic.
I said the same thing.
So what the hell do I know?
That's a little different though. I feel like we have the ability to look at numbers and say that was a ridiculous catch. Sorry, we were watching the Seattle game and
Gutierrez
made a ridiculous catch. No, we can look at Dustin McGowan's numbers and drool, and look at his stuff and drool. We can't predict injuries. We aren't in the clubhouse going, is this guy's arm about to fall off after every start?
Why is he icing his knee? Yeah. I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like we were a little. Well, clearly the Jays thought that he was going to be all right if they signed him.
And he still might be. He just got moved to the 60-day DL again.
Yeah. But,
with J-Happ, he's pitched well. He throws in the mid-90s with his fastball. Another guy that's come back from the left side that is throwing quite well, Brett Cecil.
Yeah, I messaged you the other game. He was hitting 94
consistently.
It was consistently up in the zone, but it seemed like he had the slider working, that it just backed guys off enough. He'd hammer out a couple 94-mile-an-hour fastballs, upper zone or whatever, but they weren't making contact, and then drop that slider on him, and he looked good.
Don't kid yourself. He was good out of the bullpen last year. Maybe not as good as he has been this past week, and it's a small sample size. We're not idiots here. We do realize that. Okay, it doesn't mean that he's going to have a fantastic season. He could blow up at any time. It's a long season.
No, I agree.
He's had a few good outings so far.
I've planned on him blowing up.
But last year he pitched 61 innings, and his K/9 was 7.
I guess he started a few games. Eh?
Did he start a few games?
I think he must have. Well, to get 61 innings, because he started in the.
He started in Vegas.
He started in
Double-A.
Double A.
Right.
Yeah,
Jesus.
They let him choose, and he went to Double-A.
Well, who goes to Vegas to improve the numbers?
You don't go to Vegas.
Where Vegas numbers
You
matter.
go to Vegas to gamble and buy hookers.
If you're a pitcher, you go down to Vegas and you pitch well, you shouldn't be in Vegas.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Good for you.
Yeah, so it's I liked what I've seen out of him. Other guys in the bullpen, is there anybody that's really stuck out? I'm going to throw a name at you, and it might surprise you a little bit. Darren Oliver. He's pitched 2 innings. I haven't thought he was that great.
All last year, I just waited for somebody to just absolutely turn on his 87-mile-an-hour fastball, and it just never happened. I feel like it's going to happen, though. You know what I mean?
He's 42, 43 now.
Yeah, but he has really good location, but he doesn't have great stuff, and it's just the bullpen's just, mind you, he has been extremely consistent. He has been so
the model
consistent.
Of consistency.
Yeah, but I just feel like eventually it's just got to catch up with him. You know what I mean? These are major league hitters, and you're not fooling them.
Well, you'd see him on the mound there. There'd be a runner on third and second, and nobody out, and all of a sudden he's just wiping sweat off his face, and to me, he just looks so calm and collected. Yeah. And I think it's the veteran presence that Alex Anthopoulos loves. But how long is that going to last? There's other veterans out in the bullpen, and I'm not saying Darren Oliver is going to have a terrible year, but you kind of wonder when it's going to happen. Aaron Loop right now is a better pitcher. Brett Cecil right now is a better pitcher.
I don't know if I'd say better, like quote unquote better, but
Loop's going up against lefties and righties and getting them out.
oh, I love Aaron Loop. I fucking love that guy.
I don't have to sell you.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love him. But I think for Oliver, you've got he was your best pitcher last year.
Yeah,
he was your best pitcher. He's got it. You can't just say, okay, his time's gonna come up. I mean, people probably thought his time up when he was 35. He's got another 8 years mileage under him.
We're getting a phone call. Do you want to take that, or we're gonna pass on that and we're gonna keep going with this? Yeah, the bullpen's been strong. You really like to see what you see out of Jansen, Delabar, even the Santos. He gave up the one home run to Mark Reynolds there, a tit-high fastball. If anybody's read my review, we're getting another.
I texted that phone call.
Did you?
Yeah.
Do I?
No, Mark DeRosa. That you know what? I'm a big Santos fan. Mark Reynolds had no business hitting that ball, and a 95 mile an hour tit-high fastball. What are you doing? Sitting on that. How do you hit that for starter? You almost have to be sitting on it. What are you doing sitting on that?
Yeah.
And why? Yeah.
Is it the only pitch he can hit, I guess?
I know.
It was.
I think Mark Reynolds has 5 hits this year, 4 of which have left the park.
He's got one agenda.
13 strikeouts.
I am not a Mark Reynolds fan. I would not like to see him on my team, but chicks do dig the long ball, and good for him. Yeah. So. But, the bullpen's been pretty solid other than a couple runs and hits gave up. I think it was the Johnson game. Guys kind of struggled a little bit. Jeffers, as we talked about, he's no longer with the team and probably soon to be, as the DJF guy said, a Houston Astro. So, as we move on, I'd like to talk about the Laurie and Batista injuries there. Clearly, they are hurting the team. Batista should be back as early as Tuesday. Expected to maybe DH. Hopefully, be in the outfield. Whatever.
I was thinking about it. The other day I was actually thinking about making a post on it when Gibby said they were talking about putting DH to start. If he DHs, I mean, I'm not a huge Adam Lynn fan, but it really makes our team. It makes our team weaker because then we are putting Davis in the outfield, and all of a sudden we have Davis, Bonifacio, Isturiz, or DeRosa in the same lineup, and it's just I get that Adam Lynn's not the greatest, but once you take that threat of an extra base hit out of the lineup, it just makes your lineup so much more.
The depth, the depth in this team is so much greater, but it gets magnified when you have 2 of your best right-handed hitters out of the lineup. And we're not huge fans of Brett Laurie, and I think it's the Canadian god that he's gotten right now. Everybody loves him. He's a great ball player, but he's never going to be healthy. That is a skill. It's not It's not like either you're healthy or you can stay healthy or you can't. He cannot. He hasn't proved that he's been able to.
Last year he had almost all of his plate discipline evaporated, and the power evaporated. He slugged just over 4.
He was a slap hitter by the end.
Yeah, it was the only thing that kept his average on base worthy was that he had his base on batting average of balls in play was incredibly high.
He looks like Derek Jeter, slapping the ball the other way. Hey,
but he beat out those infield signals, and from 2 years ago when he was popping balls out of the park and his OPS of 1,000, you're thinking this kid's going to be incredible. He really came back to earth.
You hope that he matures, and I'm pretty sure he's going to.
I'm sure.
What kind of stock you can put in having Mark DeRosa there, but he seems to And at the end of last year, he gave Omar Vizquel a big hug and thanked him for everything. It almost seemed like a bit of a show to me. I think with DeRosa, that age gap isn't quite as great. DeRosa's not that far removed from being an excellent player in the majors. I think there might be a little more. Okay, I believe you. I'm not gonna kill myself to make this play. You see with Jose Reyes, he doesn't die for balls.
Yeah.
And we talked about that a little bit, and the fact that
Laurie can't wait to die.
he's going to be diving for balls all over, bouncing off his chin and everything else. He's going
to time it.
He's going to do the walking with his face.
Quick step, dive. All right, get up, throw it. He does do it well, but I find it a little ridiculous. We have a person taking up the 25-man roster just to babysit
2 guys. Henry Blanco.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're babysitters. That's all they are.
They're there to give guidance and.
I'm not a big fan of it, but apparently Laurie likes him, and he's the Canadian Golden Boy. So
would you rather be like the Arizona Diamondbacks and have a whole bunch of leaders on your team and scrappy white guys?
No. But I would rather have productive bench players.
Somebody that can step in and make it.
That can somebody that you can call to that doesn't automatically put a giant hole in your lineup.
Yeah.
Like Mark DeRosa's done fine, but I can see where it's going to be a real problem when we have Mark DeRosa, and nothing against the Stewards or Bonifacio. I like those guys on the team when they're surrounded by the Batistas and Lowrys and Encarnacion, Cabrera, Reyes. But when you have Rajai Davis batting second in your lineup, it's just not good for anyone.
If Rajai Davis is starting, then it's not.
Exactly.
It's not
That's
a good day
exactly
in Blue Jay land.
And I wrote a blog post on it this winter that Rajai Davis is the perfect
bench.
Is a worst nightmare as an everyday player and a manager's dream as a bench player.
We talked about it. Like, I've made a few posts and Stoner circles. If he's out in the outfield,
it's embarrassing.
He just looks lost out there.
His defensive metrics aren't bad, but it's just because he's so goddamn fast.
Well, if he runs and he thinks the ball's going to be here, and then he has to run somewhere else to get it because he's way on. He's so quick he can get to anything, but his defense is just awful to watch.
He doesn't have a great arm.
No, he lily arms it in from right.
As far as pinch hitting goes, and maybe this was the same post, but I wrote about his splits are ridiculous, which is where a platoon, some may say, is okay with Adam Lind, but like they're not ridiculous to the point. Like he's god awful versus righties, and he's okay against lefties.
He also hasn't had exactly chance to platoon either this year with everybody getting hurt.
Yeah, that's exactly like our platoon for Lind has been DeRosa, and
which DeRosa, he's had a pretty good season so far. Like it's again small sample size.
Yeah, 6 games. It's been 6 games, but
he's got a home
last
run.
year.
He's not.
Last year, he hit 188, and like, how many bats do you really want to give him?
After Bryce Harper high-fived him and gave him a oblique injury or some fucking thing like that. Like,
what's gonna happen when Lowry high-fives him?
Kidding.
Broken arm.
DeRosa. Laurie's back. Go sit in the clubhouse. I don't want you getting hurt. Fucking Gibby. You'll be the best.
The best.
Gibby the best, man. That's a coin phrase from the DJF, but we are going to use
those guys are
that
awesome.
shit
No,
out of it.
I love those guys.
If you guys are listening to this, give us a hit on Twitter. I'd love to hear from you.
Give us a shout out. You guys come by anytime.
Hey, and if we're ever in Toronto, we're going to be looking you up because I am slowly getting drunker right now.
Like, are those guys big guys in Toronto, or just like, do they go to the bar and nobody knows who they are? I feel like
Stoughton made the comment one time that he's like, select few people out of the 10,000 people in downtown Toronto would recognize him.
I can see how Stoughton would get recognized because he's got that beard.
He's a beauty.
But fair service, I can see how he just blended. Even when I kind of watched the video feed of their podcast,
YouTube,
I'm kind of like, oh yeah, that's what he looks like.
I said on the YouTube.
On the YouTube. on the internet
machine and the Google and such. So basically, fuck off, fans.
Yeah.
Don't be stupid.
Yeah, it's
the team's going to be okay.
They're going to be.
I'm going to set you up here, and I want you to give a good rant because the team's going to be okay. They're good. Yeah, there's holes in it. There's holes in every team. The Yankees are not good. Terrible. The Orioles.
Hear my voice break there? Terrible. The Yankees terrible.
So fucking bad.
I just can't take it anymore.
So then there's, the Yankees aren't good. The Orioles, we all know. Okay, here's a nice little stat for
I
everybody.
don't mind the Orioles. I know you hate the Orioles,
Last
but I
year they
don't
were
mind.
19-9 in one-run games. This
Oh
year,
no! Oh, 99. Yeah, what was it in extra inning games? Like 11-0 or 12-0, something
like that.
ridiculous.
19-9 in one-run games. This year they're 0-3. They're fucked. They're no good. Devil Ray or Tampa Bay Rays or whatever they are, they're not going to be as good. It's plain and simple. They're just not going to be as good. I don't think, anyways. They're not that good. And then the Boston Red Sox, who wiped the floor with the Toronto Blue Jays, I don't think they're as good as they are either. So,
No, I think they're gonna. No, I don't believe. I don't buy the Red Sox for a second.
please,
I hope
please.
stupid Red Sox fans are listening to this because they're terrible.
Well, then please tell me why Toronto fans are just the worst.
Toronto fans, it's been 20 years since we've had a legit team, and in R.A. Dickey, R.A. Dickey's first start, it wasn't awful. It wasn't that bad. It looked bad because JPA couldn't catch the goddamn ball. But his second start in, we have the National League Cy Young winner. Excuse me. He comes here, signs a below market value deal, and then in his second game, the fans boo him. He throws a precision pitch to where if his fingernails push off a millimeter too quickly, the pitch it's just a fastball. Now, what do you think that does when you have 41,000 people booing you? You're going, holy shit. You're focusing on it, it's not knuckling, and then all of a sudden you're throwing fastball. If you watched the game the other night, he was throwing, I texted you this, he was probably throwing 50% fastballs. And like Dickey's got an 83 mile an hour fastball. That's not fooling no one. Both Middlebrooks' home runs were off of an 83 mile an hour fastball. Like, Jays fans, wait till game 100 before you start booing our new. How are we ever going to find anyone to play here if game 2, the best pitcher in the league last year, was booed?
So, bottom line,
Absolutely
Jays
ridiculous.
fans, Toronto in particular, mostly the fans that were at the game, because I would like to think that people outside of the GTA are a little more understanding in the fact that, you know what?
I don't know why. What is about Toronto that makes all their fans stupid? Leafs
Is
fans
it because they never win? Like Winnipeg, the
But
Jets.
why? Yeah, well, shouldn't you be a little more understanding? We have the best pitcher in the league, and we're just gonna boo him.
I guess fans go there. I don't know what they're expecting, but they're not robots. And if you can't go there and expect them to do the same thing night in, night out and give you that 2.60 ERA or whatever it's going to be, because they're human.
Well, what do they think? What do they think booing a knuckleball pitcher is going to do? Make his knuckleball knuckle more? Because booing, you'd be like, well, then everyone knows that I'm not trying to throw this absolute precision pitch that a minuscule fraction of the entire baseball world can throw.
Well, you watch the movie Knuckleball.
Yeah.
Enlighten us a little bit more on the knuckleball, because I know what it does. I understand it, but I don't have a great appreciation for it like that movie, the documentary really gives.
It's a good documentary. I recommend it to anyone. But one thing I found funny, and this is where it becomes kind of, it makes the fans booing kind of a little more hilarious. When the guys, they have 4 of the previous knuckleballers. There was Wakefield, Necro, Dickey was there, and one other guy I can't remember, but they were telling stories about pitching coaches coming out to see them and the advice they give them. And essentially, a pitching goes for a knuckleballer does nothing. They within their group, they talk to each other and give each other advice. A pitching coach does absolutely nothing. And they'll laugh and tell stories like, can you try and make it knuckle more? Or do you think you could put it over for more strikes? And they're like, well, when I release it from my hand, it does whatever the fuck it wants to. I have no idea what it's doing when it leaves my hand. And that's the thing about fans booing. Like, do they think that's going to, like, is that something like, get focused harder and you'll be able to throw your knuckleball better?
It's a volatile pitch.
Yeah. It's so precise that one, like, little thing sets it off. You could throw You could throw 100 good ones in a night, and you throw 2 or 3 bad ones, and they're left the yard.
gone.
You've given up 3 runs.
The fact
So
that
that's really good. Do you want your team to win? You're booing this pitcher.
possibly your best pitcher, and the fact that RA can control his from up and down
Yeah,
is a huge deal. No other knuckleballer has ever been able to do that. Now he's trying to change leagues and do all this other stuff, and he's pitching in a new place, and fans are booing him. I don't get it. He's going to be great, so all you fans that are booing him, fuck right off.
Oh,
You're
you
probably
guys are
not fans
douchebags.
anyways. So
You guys are unhappy with your own stupid lives. You go boo his. Yeah.
So, bottom line is, fans, cheer on your team. Don't be a d-bag. It's a long year.
Oh, you guys are. Yeah, I was upset watching the game.
We don't
Oh,
need.
and they were giving Lyndon Rasmus a hard time the other night. Like, get lost.
Yeah, that's another thing. Lind, okay, was his batting average? I got it right here. I can look it up. Adam Lind's batting average is, geez, 0.63. He's had some really good at
Like,
bats. He's ripped the ball that opening night.
The opening night
Could have been a
if that
2-run
ball-
single.
it could have been a 3-run double.
Yeah.
Bases were loaded, and Asdrubal Cabrera made a ridiculous play. If that gets through, if he's 3 feet to the right, that ball gets through. It goes to the wall, and we're talking about Adam Lind like he's a savior.
Yeah.
He had 3 RBI.
Yeah, like it matters.
Stu, I'm not an Adam Lind fan at all, but it's 3 or 4 games in when they started giving him shit. Like,
Yeah.
give it a rest.
He's had a lot of at bats to prove that he's not a great hitter, but he's also,
He is an above average hitter versus right-handed pitching.
Yep.
He is so bad versus left-handed pitching. It really brings him back to reality.
It's nice to finally have a manager that's going to be smart enough to maybe protect him against a left-handed pitcher every once in a while.
Agreed.
So
yeah.
again, give you the best.
Give you the best.
Give you the best. Okay, we have got a question in, texted to us from our other blogger there, Hayden Johnson. Does Rasmus repeat last year and have another brutal second half, or does he stay hot? Obviously, it's a ridiculous question, but I'd like to hear what you think there, Joseph.
I think Kobe Rasmus is going to have not like a breakout Batista year, but I think he's going to progress to the point where it'll be a question again. Ghost, Rasmus, what's going to happen?
I think he could hit 30 home runs in his sleep.
Especially the way they're flying out of the Rogers Center these days. But yeah, that is a pretty swing.
He's got
He has got a
and
nice swing.
he's got a double or two there. His numbers actually, he's right up there with the rest of the boys. And 2 home runs and 3 hits. So yeah, 1 double. So
he's got some. I think it was the DJF guys were talking about it. He's got some incredible holes in swing.
Oh.
Give him an outside change, curve in the dirt, high fastball. He's just not going to hit it. But he's always walked at a good clip. He's always had a
Good
60 to 70 point higher on base than he has his average. And maybe he'll just learn to lay off the pitch. I don't know. I don't know how he's going to develop. But if he does, he's a dangerous hitter because we've seen what he can do at his best. And it's ridiculous.
even right now, he's hitting 167, but his on base is 250. That's that 50, 60 points better.
Yeah.
And if he can continue to he's not going to hit 160 this year. Fans.
No.
He's going to improve on that.
Yeah.
So if he's hitting 250, then all of a sudden his on base is 350.
That's really, even if he's hitting 250 and he's getting on at 330, that's like what I had predicted for him, and I don't have the numbers with me, but I think I said 260, 320 on base, and he'll always hit for good slugging because he's just got a home run swing.
Yeah.
He just and that's probably part of his problem. Well, that is part of his problem why he strikes out so much. But as long he's always going to strike out.
We'll accept the strikeouts with the power.
Yeah. I don't like. He's just got type of swing, and he's got holes in the swing that he's always going to strike out. But with that comes power, and if he can keep a good eye, I think. And what we're forgetting, Stu, You're 26. I'm 25. Both of us are older than Colby
Yeah.
Rasmus.
So we've got more
Right.
experience in senior baseball than he does in Toronto.
Yeah, way more.
The thing with the strikeouts is, and I was always the kind of guy in my head, a strikeout is awful. Whether he grounds out to first base or second base or shortstop, whatever, or flies out, an out's an out. He's getting out one way or another. There are certain instances where you'd like to see the ball put in play, but at least the strikeout, you're not doubling.
You're not
You're
doubling
not
up.
hitting into a double play. There's other things that he's doing that's not so bad. With that swing, I think you're going to get more good than bad. You're going to see strikeouts, but strikeouts are not the end of the world.
No. I know. I hate seeing guys going down strikeouts and putting a ball in play. It's always good. It's always really good.
Almost
But
always good.
Almost,
unless he
yeah.
gets double play.
There's the double play thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially, strikeouts look bad, but what they do is look worse than they actually are.
Yeah.
And essentially, what it is just another out. But you always like to see guys put a bat on a ball. You know.
The only time I thought a strikeout was really bad is when Kelly Johnson struck out. I couldn't stand it.
He could strike out worse than anyone I've ever seen.
He'll go down to Tampa this year and have a great
30
year.
home
It's gonna
runs,
drive me
yeah.
nuts.
And Escobar's going to hit 320, and yeah, they're going to be a dynamic duo up the middle.
Well, this should just about do it. Gonna do predictions here going into this week. They got Detroit, 3 games in Detroit, and then 3 games in Kansas City.
It might be 4 games in Kansas City. I'm not totally sure. 3 or 4.
We can look it up. Here, you keep talking about them, and I'll look it up.
Anyway, so I've predicted they avoid Verlander and Scherzer in Detroit, so I'm taking them to win 2 in Detroit. Jose Bautista's back, and then something tells me when they go to Kansas City, Lowry might be back. Anyway, I don't even know who they face there, but Dickie the Best, he will be back pitching in Kansas City. We'll be all right. We'll take 2 there. So we'll be coming back to the stupid fans of Toronto with a 500 record.
I predict they come back a game over 500. Still, not
So
in
we're gonna
first place.
sweep?
They're going to sweep at least one series.
I like it. I do like it.
They're bound to bounce back, whatever.
You know what?
Predictions are going to be strong, and I hope
Oh.
I hear from Twitter because that means we've got actual followers.
Followers, yeah, that's true.
So,
The Jays are going to lose 6 straight.
yeah, my sad little
Our Twitter handle is.
my sad little world here where our Twitter followers mean everything. I'd
Yeah.
love to hear from you. So, anyways, follow us at Jays Average.
Jays Average.
Jays
yeah.
Average.
You can search Average Jays fan and you find us as well.
And then from there, take the links and follow, give Joe or I a follow, or Hayden Johnson,
Hayden
who
Johnson.
could not enjoy us. He's
It's too bad.
he's
He's
down,
been texting us, annoying the shit out of us
he's
while
down,
we're trying to talk.
down learning and shit, doing the school thing and playing a little baseball. Soon enough, he'll be back up here, and we'll pick on the little guy because
Might as well.
he likes silly things like pitcher wins and RBIs, and
Probably saves.
no, he does like saves. We will make fun of him for that.
Does he like saves?
Oh, we had a huge argument.
Oh,
right?
yeah, he does like saves. Yeah, we'll make fun of him for sure.
Yeah, we'll make fun of him. Whatever. Because saves are not a good stat to really tell you how a reliever's doing, other than
No.
he gets to pitch in the 9th inning. Good for
Yeah.
him.
It's good for him.
Anyways, have a good night. Monday. Enjoy the week of Blue Jays baseball. Hopefully, if we can get our shit together, we'll be back here again next Monday.
Are we going to do this weekly? I like Mondays. Yeah, that's a good
If we
idea.
go weekly. We'll try
do
weekly.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
promises, though. No
All right.
promises.
Well, we're going to organize this well on air.
Yeah. Show meetings, just like DGF. We strive to be them, but no, we're not going for the score. We're shooting for the top. Bring it on, TSN. We're waiting for a contract. All right. Have a good one.